I hate this movie. Welcome back to Conquest of Fred. I'm Fred, and today we're finally getting a bad review. Midnight Meat Train is the worst movie I've seen in as long as I can remember. It's a non-stop stream of reactionary garbage punctuated with absurd CGI that was dated back in '08, but it still looks gross. I'm going to approach this a little differently because this story is nonsense, but there is a whole lot to unpack. So I'm going to sprint through the plot and then I'm going to just pick it apart. Uh, don't watch this movie. Spoilers don't matter. Bradley Cooper is a photographer who wants to be an artist, but he has to eat, so he spends his night listening to a police scanner so he can sell his pictures to the paper or something. His girlfriend is Leslie Bibb, and she really wants to get married. But he's too broke, so she gets her friend Jurgis to introduce him to a rich art world lady who tells him to try harder. Also, she's a sexual predator. So he goes out and takes pictures of a rape gang as they try to rape a lady at the train station, but they see him, so he points out a security camera and they run away, implying that they would be back, but they never come back. The lady kisses Bradley Cooper and gets on a train where she gets murdered by a man with a meat tenderizer. Bradley Cooper reads about the disappearance in the paper and goes to the police like a good boy, but they just suspect him. No good deed goes unpunished. He shows his pictures to the rich lady and she gets very excited about them, but she wants more. Vinnie Jones is revealed as the butcher and Bradley Cooper starts stalking him. He becomes obsessed. He learns a bunch about Vinnie Jones, but it's not important. He witnesses more murders but gets got and comes home, changed. He's acting weird and is uninterested in the art stuff he's supposed to do. Leslie Bibb and Jurgis do their own investigation, but Jurgis gets got. The final act shows Bradley Cooper going into the subway to kill Vinnie Jones, and Leslie Bibb also is on her way to kill Vinnie Jones. They have a big fight, and they wind up at the end of the line, where they learn that the subway murders are a vast conspiracy by the government to supply the reptilians that live there with human flesh. They kill Leslie Bibb, remove Bradley Cooper's tongue, and force him to be the new butcher. The end. I was originally excited to watch this movie because it's based on a short story by Clive Barker, who is one of the most interesting horror writers just ever. But after viewing, I had to know if the story on the screen was the same as the story on the page, and I was very relieved to find out that it was not. In the barest sense, the story contained the same plot, but all the details about the characters and how they reached a conclusion were different. The most major change is the fact that in Barker's story, the perspective bounced back and forth between Kaufman and Mahogany, who are Bradley Cooper and Vinnie Jones. This mechanic allows the audience to have a look at the picture earlier in the story so that the ending doesn't come completely out of nowhere. The other main difference is that Kaufman's personal life is basically non-existent in the story, which spares us from pretty much all the brain poison that we're going to talk about going forward. The short story ends with Kaufman understanding the fathers. They were turned into reptilians in the film, and he willingly takes up the mantle of the butcher so that his beloved city can continue. This is a contrast with the negativity that had seeped into his thoughts at the beginning of the story. It's by no means a perfect story, but it was a fun read, and it would make a cool short film. Just, you would have to stick to the story and set it in 1984 when it was written, because it doesn't make sense today, or in whatever year this came out, '08? I forget. I'll have to double check. But now, let's jump back into the movie and look at all the things it does that made me yell swears at it the whole way through. The Midnight Meat Train does have themes, but all of them are reactionary and most are offensive. And that's the end of the script that I wrote, because I don't even know where to start with this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through all the points in the movie that I marked that just drove me crazy, and I'm going to play it and respond appropriately to each of them. So, we're going to hard cut to that, and I'll see you on the other side. Alright, so here we are, ready to get started on going through in chronological order. I've got a sheet of timestamps and notes. Oh, you can't see it there. I've got a sheet of timestamps and notes, basically where I lay out for myself what are the things that I find objectionable in this film. So before we get started, I will hit a couple notes. One is the categories. A lot of these are like one-off things and some technical things, whatever. But I've got 3 bigger categories that show up multiple times, and I've called these deranged sexualization, aggressive whiteness, straight up racism, and meat discourse. So that'll be fun. Right here is something that I forgot to mention. This is the very first scene, and we'll just mute him right here. And the film does start and end with this scene. So I mentioned in my recap that Bradley Cooper becomes the new butcher. This is actually, I'm pretty sure, his first murder scene from the end of the movie. But it's super not important. And then we'll just cut to this. And we get our title screen. Yeah. So there he is. He's doing his thing. So as you can already see, it's a pretty ugly movie. And then we get introduced to our guy, Bradley Cooper. Boom. Here we've got Bradley Cooper and Leslie Bibb, and they are happy about this whole art thing that's happening, and that's Jurgis. And let's hear him a little bit.
Whatever you do, don't mention Maya.
What? What?
Susan likes her artists young, male, and single. Actually, you know what? The male part isn't that important.
All right, so our very first thing that we see here is that this lady wants to take advantage of Bradley Cooper, but also she's into women too. I don't know what the author is trying to say about pretty much anything in this movie for real, but it's nuts. It's nuts. Everything they do here is just out of control. So here we have Bradley Cooper seeing a suspicious person. Let's see if we can figure out what it is about this guy that strikes him as suspicious. I guess this group of people. Interesting. Here they are. There's people around. We are in a brightly lit public place. It's probably not too late. Obviously, there are people here walking around. using the escalator, buying tickets. And then we have followed these 3 black men, and now we're taking pictures.
It's time to pay the toll, baby.
And they are sexually assaulting this woman. And oh, she sees him. What's he gonna do now? Because here he was just really getting taking his chance at getting a really cool picture
What the
of.
fuck you gonna do, bitch?
Ooh. He says some
Come up here and
some
find
cuss
out.
words. Oh, you're
What?
really strong and confident.
That's good.
White man Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, that's great. All right, stop right there. Right there, stop. That's perfect.
See, all of this is very uncomfortable.
You ever started a movie before?
Like I said in my recap, these guys don't come back at all. They show up in like a nightmare flash scene where he's like remembering all the gross stuff that's happened so far.
Yo, let's go.
All right, so they're scared of cameras. Also, those guys didn't speak a word. They're just his like automaton thugs. This next spot right here, I just wrote Orientalism because she's got a pretty thick accent here. And
You okay?
Thanks. Most of people would have ran away.
Oh, yeah, I didn't this time.
Yeah.
And then boom, more deranged sexuality. Very strange. Why would she do that? That didn't make any sense. No, strange. So then she gets on the train, and I already told you that she gets killed, but let's see, I did put a technical note at 14 minutes. So let's jump ahead
Thanks.
a few seconds here. Yeah, we've got this weird, hard blur line. And I hate it. And this scene hurts my neck. This one is marked white.
To show these to Susan Hoff what you said she wants. I mean, this is it.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah. And if it's not, I hope I never see it.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Babe, I'll see you later.
Yeah. So once again, here we have a completely imagined scenario of this rape gang raping in public, but it's also an Asian woman who is, again, horribly treated by just the direction of this film. And their main concern is, wow, these pictures are visceral. They cause a lot of emotion in us. Let's monetize that. And it's uncritical. That's the problem. If the point was they are wrong for thinking this way, then I wouldn't have any complaints. But it's not. It is treated as a normal thing to think and a normal way to feel about rape gangs in the sewers, in the subway. It's nonsense. So now comes some of my favorite confusing politics, and it is the relationship between Bradley Cooper and Leslie Bibb's boss, who, let's just look at him.
Thanks, babe.
Hands off.
No fucking way.
Come on, one last time.
I said never again, and I meant it.
Look, if I don't care that your disgusting grease gets all over my tofu, why do you care that my tofu would get all over your disgusting grease?
Because my customers, real Americans with blood in their veins,
Really?
they don't want their Philly cheesesteak within a mile of a bean curd. Even saying it makes me want to puke.
They're never gonna know the difference.
Oh, no.
Tofu is tasteless.
Oh, so now you admit it?
Of course.
My Gramps, God rest his soul. Jesus, if he ever saw me do this, he'd rise from the dead and make a sausage out of me.
Yeah, and your red-blooded customers would gobble it right up.
Okay, so I do love the way that they do the your red-blooded customers will gobble it right up. I mean, hey, that is great because this whole thing is about eating people. Fine, whatever. That's kind of funny, but this whole discourse between meat and tofu, it's like it's not clear what the point is because am I supposed to like Bradley Cooper? Because it comes down pretty firmly against the tofu eating. We're gonna see later when he eats some meat and how that scene is. But why? What's the point? Why is this in the film? I labeled this next one Libs, Women Be Nervous. So, again, we are clearly supposed to think that this guy is a scumbag. But really, all he's doing is trying to get laid. He's trying to talk this couple into coming back to his place. But the woman is nervous.
We're getting off the next stop, so you can do what you want, but we're getting off, okay?
Fine. You know what? We can go back to my place, and Lee here can cook us a nice romantic dinner for
Did we
three.
just miss
How's
our
that
stop?
So,
I've talked my wife into bed.
I think you're into it, actually. I think
Randall?
you were cool with it.
One second, honey. You know, it's a cheap lunch. It's cheaper than the plate.
Maybe if you didn't sleep throughout the day,
Randall.
you'd actually enjoy
What?
it. She's been checking me out, Darren.
okay, I'm going to cut this in before the scene. Hey, heads up, something really gross is coming up, but it's so cartoony that it's not really that offensive. I'm sure that this would get demonetized if I was monetized at all. But whatever. It's, again, this is not real looking at all. So don't worry too much about it. I don't know. You can cover your eyes if you don't want to see poorly rendered CGI of a dude's eye popping out. Alright, let's time travel. Whoop. Oh. Okay. So here we have Bradley Cooper, and he's sitting on a bench, and he sees Vinnie Jones come up out of the subway, gets curious about this creepy guy in a suit. Whatever. At this point, I fully want Bradley Cooper to die. He has no reason to still be alive when he's doing stuff like this. Yeah. Alright. I really don't have anything else to say about this. It's just dumb. Alright. This is my most unironically favorite part of the film. So let's just watch it. Enjoy.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
I think that's so hilarious. I think that that's really good stuff. I think that that actor is cool, and then in the rest of the scene, he's the first person to actually fight back against Vinnie Jones. So, but again, he comes across as very stupid, and they put him in a black beret for some reason. But okay. Oh, yeah. During this fight, he pulls out a complete, just a full sword. Yes. But he doesn't seem to really know how to fight. It's embarrassing. He gets got. Whatever. Alright, moving on. Again, this is not a friendly scene for YouTube. However, it is so profoundly unsexy. And I feel like the performance deserves to be addressed, because I think that it must have something to do with what this movie is about. But here we have Bradley Cooper finally proposing. Or whatever. He says it's like a proposal for proposal. Like a promise ring. Notice, ew, weird. Notice that they're at her place of work right now, after hours. There are windows all along the front. And yeah, a kiss is fine. I no objection with that. So again, this has to be building some sort of a theme about like his like weird relationship with sex. He gets kissed by the lady in the subway. He is like a target of the rich lady who wants to like own his body. All right, so now let's watch her face, because she is clearly not enjoying this. Now let's get into like the visual influence of this film. Clearly, the goal was to like knock off Fincher, but they don't understand what makes David Fincher's visual style work, and so they think that if they just like mess with the saturation,
I know I look like
do
shit.
creepy picture stuff like this, that's good enough. But it's not. It doesn't
War
work.
of the Butcher?
That's where he works.
All right. At 46 minutes,
Babe, listen to
I
me.
write.
I butcher some?
She gets
Babe,
it.
Oh my God, look at this.
Listen to me. I'm sure.
Look at this, look what I found.
But this is. So some guy was accused of kidnapping.
Guy worked
Baby,
in the
it's a
same
century
meatpacking
ago.
plant. The
It's
guy
a
who worked at the
century
same
ago.
meatpacking plant.
What are you saying?
What do you
Are you
mean?
saying that it's the same person? Is that what you're saying? Because I don't understand how that works. How does that work?
No.
How was he reincarnated or something?
No,
What?
no,
Tell me
I don't
what
know.
you're saying.
Maybe, but look, the point is, but it's happened before. I mean, it can't be a coincidence. I mean, no,
Why not?
this guy's involved somehow. I know it. I don't know if it's a copycat, but it's him, and I got him.
This is not what's going on, okay? This is all fake, okay? It's not. No more. No more night shoots. No more, please. Just stay.
Okay, so she's right. Like, none of it makes any sense. He shouldn't be doing this. This is all dumb.
Shoots.
But I'm gonna pull it down here because the next part I just wrote sex next to, because she says, "I want you to shoot what makes you happy, and he says, "You," and my brain is blown, and I don't get it. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. He starts taking pictures of her, and then he starts to have these weird like flashes of things that have upset him throughout the movie so far. And so he can't go on. He can't continue. And she starts to take off her clothes, and we will cut that there. And she like goes into the bathroom and leaves him out in the hallway. The next thing is, and I'm just gonna pause it and see if I can get a quick glimpse. Yeah, okay. Right there. That's a freeze frame from later during a very gross dismemberment scene. I hate it. I'm not gonna show it. It looks terrible. It sounds terrible. It's garbage. At this point, Bradley Cooper has gotten caught because he was watching Vinnie Jones dismember those people. Now he's awake, and here we get our first look at the reptilians. Why they leave him alive and just like caress him, I don't understand. It's not explained, but they like carve this symbol into his chest, and that's that. That's when he goes back to his place and starts acting strangely. Okay. Next, I've got a technical note, and I say, what is this sound? Yeah, it sounds like electrical issues. I don't know. So she goes to the cop. Again, apparently this is like the only detective in the city. I don't understand. There's no good sense of place here.
He wants it back.
It's a timetable with a check for
But
every
Jurgis
moment going back
sounds like a
100
fake
years. You
person.
cannot give that back to him. It's the only proof we have.
Let me see it, please. The tenant doesn't want to press any charges. He just wants his property back.
I don't have it. Jurgis does. You have to find Jurgis.
Look, you've already admitted
There's
to breaking
no
in.
good reason for
That's very
a
serious.
real cop
I can hold
to
you for that alone.
If you do
trust
not go
anything that
back
they're
with me,
saying.
I'm gonna go back with someone else.
And you'll be arrested, Miss Jones.
There's no good reason for her to trust anything that these people are saying to her. But later, it's revealed that she's in on the whole thing anyway. So whatever. Alright, so here's the part that I ironically like. I think this is really funny. But yeah, let's just watch it.
Come on, your public awaits you. I'm not holding my breath on that one. A tad too bleak. Leon? Where are you going? I said, where are you going?
I got a train to catch.
No, you said medium rare.
Very funny.
Hey, zip it, huh? Ouch, it's hot. Hold on one second.
Okay, so here's
Hey,
another
where
thing
are
I
you,
like.
man? Excuse me.
Where is it?
Where's what? My. All right. Now you're as crazy as your boyfriend. What? Stop. What are you doing?
She just disrespects her boss.
Stop. Right. Hey. Don't you? If you don't leave, Maya.
She just owns him so hard.
Are you there?
I think she owned him really
That butcher.
hard
Baby, that butcher, I think he has Jurgis.
in an earlier
I-
scene.
that
Let's see.
cop,
Let's see.
detective,
Can I
it's
get it?
Jones.
In this scene, he comes in and
Jurgis
wants to
showed me a
talk.
picture of that broad that's gonna make your boy rich and famous.
Yeah, so?
What do you have to do to get a date with a broad like that, huh?
Magically transform into someone who does not call women broads.
Fair point. Well done. She's my favorite character,
All right.
easily. Her and the guy in the
Can I
beret.
talk to you for a second?
God, no fucking way. No, come back later. She's busy. Come back later.
You okay?
You were right.
So,
That's all I wanted to say.
I really like that part because she just, again, just completely owns him. He tells her not, he even swears at her, tells her that she's not allowed to talk to him, but whoop, she doesn't care. Does not care at all. At one minute and 18 or 1 hour and 18 minutes, we get a hilarious yell. Let's see. Let's listen to it. No, wait. Let's get that audio. Oh yeah, here he kitted up. He got a bunch of knives and a meat hook and a chainmail apron because he's going to kill the butcher. And there she is going. Very funny. Also, limitless Bradley Cooper. No problem. Just leaping and meat hooking onto that. Excellent. So, I'm going to have to cut around the visuals for this, but the dialogue is just very good.
Please, step away from the meat.
Love it. I love that line. Again, in the short story, it is not necessary that they explain exactly what's going on, because like the idea is just that the rich and powerful own the city and that like they can consume its people to like sustain themselves, and that is a fine theme, and we can like get on board with that. See, there's a guy from the first scene. But ultimately, in the end, there's not this film doesn't make any point. It doesn't get at that idea that Clive Barker was writing. Instead, it focuses on is meat okay to eat? Instead, it focuses on just this deranged relationship that Bradley Cooper's character has with sex, with his girlfriend, fiance, with, you know, just random women. Again, loosely based. It is loosely based on that. How basically black people are dangerous and are going to rape models in public. Why? No explanation. No explanation whatsoever for any of it. Hopefully, I can edit all of that into something that gets across how bad this movie really is, and how it's just a bunch of reactionary thoughts strung together in a way that vaguely resembles the plot of the Clive Barker story. His story, it does talk about how like the city was in the city specifically in the book is New York City. I don't know that they ever actually say New York in the movie because it wasn't filmed in New York. It's just a city. But it was written in 1984 when, yeah, like there was like more danger out there. It was kind of scary to be alone at night in the city. But the way that things are very much different today, most violence takes place between people who already know each other. Most violent crime is either perpetrated by family or friends. There's almost no like random violence on streets. And they are taking that old idea that is not like wrong to be concerned about crime when it's happening, but they just went, okay, let's do that, but it's today. They shouldn't have done that. I think that this could have been a good movie if they had stuck like strictly to the things that actually happen in the story. For instance, in the short story, Bradley Cooper's character talks to a guy who is a conspiracy theorist who, like, I can't remember if he specifically name checks the reptilians, but like Bradley Cooper's character goes, well, that guy is crazy and all these conspiracy nuts are off their rockers, but then he grows to learn about the conspiracy, but he also is convinced that feeding these creatures in the subway is actually sustaining the city. Whereas in this, I'm not given that impression. They're not actually making that clear. He's just bullied into doing it. This movie's bad. I hated it. I watched it 3 times basically, all so that you don't have to. Don't watch this movie. Literally watch any of the other movies that I've talked about. Watch most of the movies that I'm going to talk about in the coming videos. This one was bad. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say other than our score. So, first, meaning. How many points out of 10 does it get for the themes and the message it's trying to get across? 0 out of 10. Technique. Knockoff Fincher. They were trying to go for something bleak, kind of 7 feel. Doesn't land. 1 out of 10. Fun. It's not fun. This is a terrible slog to get through. I hated it. However, Leslie Bibb owning the pants off of her boss is hilarious, and the guy in the beret rules, and he has a sword. I love that. 1 out of 10 for those 2 bits. And finally, how scary is it? It's not scary at all. It's just gross in a couple points, so grossness gets it 1 point. This is a 3 out of 40 film. I hated it. I will never touch it again. Come on and argue with me. I watched a recap video on YouTube. Maybe I'll link it in the description. They do a good job recapping. The comments are insane. They're all talking about how much they love this movie. Those people, I can't even get into their minds. This is a bad movie. Don't watch it. Thanks for watching, everybody. This is my first negative review. I'm glad that we could enjoy this together. Please like, subscribe, tell people who are into horror movies about the content that I'm making. Tell people who like Nintendo games about the stuff that I'm doing on Nintendo. Come on out to the stream, twitch.tv/Conquest of Bread. We're having a lot of fun. We're doing cool stuff. Oh, yeah. Tell anybody who likes this movie to watch, and they can come argue in the comment section. That'll be fun. Give me some engagement. Tomorrow, we're talking about a classic, and I kind of don't want to tell you which one yet. So, be prepared for that. It's a lot of fun, and we will catch you next time. Bye.